Hey guys, in today's video, what I want to discuss is how I'm generating 50 to hundreds of leads per month for my contractor clients and home construction clients that you can replicate for yourself. It's a super easy way, and I have no doubt that this tactic could even generate thousands of leads per month if you have the capacity to fulfill those leads. It's insanely simple and something that you can easily integrate into your own business. I'm going to go through a live example and then I'm going to show you how to build it. So with that being said, let's jump over to my computer and see how this whole lead generation funnel works and how you can use it yourself. So here we are at my computer and I'm going to go through. This is actually a quiz funnel. Now, they're much simpler to set up than people think, but because of the novelty and curiosity around the topics that you can create quizzes about, they can provide great information, but they can also collect really good pre-qualified prospects, because the questions that you engineer within the quiz itself pre-qualify people out and give you fantastic information that you can use to sell the prospect. So it improves the amount of leads coming in, so lead volume goes up, but also improves the quality of leads that come in as well, but also gives you more information in order to better sell those prospects as well. So the best way to increase the number of leads is to like and subscribe to this video. Much appreciated. Helps me get more views. Gives me, being an introvert, gives me more confidence to actually produce more videos. So if you wanted to give me a helping hand in that regard, I'd appreciate it, because it is very difficult for me to do these sometimes. With that being said, I'm going to go through an example quiz that I have running for a client right now. I removed all the branding because it's just not the right thing to do. But with that said, let's jump in and have a look. So this one is for a kitchen remodeling business, but again, this can be set up for no matter if you're into mold stuff, landscaping, kitchens, bathrooms, home builder. It's all contractors, solar, and we'll see some solar examples further as we go along in this video. So with that being said, let's have a quick look. Now, this whole quiz is around the prospect getting an understanding of what it's going to cost to renovate or remodel their kitchen. Now, let's have a look and see how this is all set up, because it gives a pretty accurate price at the end. I say pretty accurate because it's not accurate. You can't say it's a quote, but it gives a general idea. And that kind of general idea is a burning question that people have in this industry, and a lot of industries, and your prospects will have, because it all comes down to price. What's it cost? They don't know what it costs, but they're hyper curious because they know the value of money, but they don't know what goes into your particular service. So with that being said, let's have a look. So sign me up, and so we can pick the service that the prospect wants. So we're just going to go with refinished cabinets, and we'll go with countertops as well, and we'll move on to the next one. This one, pre-qualification, but it also sorts out the calculation of costs as we move along. So just how many are you looking to refinish? Do you want holes? Yeah, we'll fix up the holes. Do you want new handles? Of course, we want new handles. And how large is the kitchen? This isn't so much going into the calculation stage. This is just giving you, if you're a kitchen remodeler, or this is the type of question that allows you to get an understanding of the size of kitchen. So this is that previous question is a moderately important one to the client that I'm working with. This one here is like, what's the layout of the kitchen? So there is some calculations that go in with this type of question. We also provide pictures here so people can get a visual understanding of what's a one wall, a galley, L-shape, U-shape, etc. So we'll just go with L-shaped for no particular reason. Do you have an island or a peninsula? So we have an island, so we'll go with that. There's also, we don't have an island or anything like that. Do you want quartz or tile? Again, going into the qualification element, how many sinks? We'll have one sink. And what type of sink do we want? Stainless steel. We've got the visual element again. So this is all just factoring in the calculations of what it's going to cost to develop this estimation for this type of kitchen that the prospect's looking for. So we'll go with a composite sink, a single vessel or double vessel. So we'll have a double vessel, because why not? We'll have new faucets as well. When are you looking to get the kitchen size? So pre-qualification question, I'm looking to get it done, in the next 3 months. That's purely qualification, has no bearing on the calculation. What's your full name? So we'll go with Bren. And next we'll go with just email. So we'll just go bren@gmailtest.com. That's not my email, obviously. And we'll just go with, got to change this to Australian because I don't have this, and I'm going to blow this out, no offense to anyone. I actually don't need to put in my own phone number. That's not my phone number, obviously. Had a little error there. And, what's your address? I don't like this particular question, to be open and honest. My client does. I think the zip code is perfectly fine. It's much easier for the prospect to engage with that, but that's possibly personal preference. I haven't got any testing data on this question yet, but I think just the barrier to entry to answer the question, it's a bit more difficult. You got to type a few more keystrokes, and I just don't think it's necessary. Where most zip codes are 4 to 5 characters long, so we'll just say test here. So there we have it. We have the thank you page, or like the final thank you page of the quiz. And what happens here is based upon your answers, it costs $23,666. And then we go into some sales stuff. So we've collected all that prospect information. So everything from the address, even though I don't agree with it, but we've got first name, email, etc., with the phone number. So we can follow up. But we're also trying to automate the follow-up sequence. So what happens from here is that the person, I can't click this button because it goes to a sales page and there's all branding, but it would go to a sales page. And we're trying to get an automating booking. So it goes to a calendar process where the person can select a date and a time for when they want to engage with this company in order to go through the consultation. Additionally to that, and I'll get into this in just a moment in the video, is that we have a series of emails. And what they do is they set expectations, they nurture the prospect, they educate the prospect, they persuade the prospect to become warmer, for lack of a better way, to become more qualified, to become a hotter prospect that becomes easier to sell. So if someone doesn't engage with us and click this button and make their consultation, that's fine. The emails will capture them, but also personal contact, because someone from this company will personally contact them to see, would they like to discuss their project, etc. So there's multiple forms of follow-up here. So building credibility, enhancing the perception of this company's ability to provide a fantastic kitchen. So now that we're seeing an example, how do we build it? Okay, so one thing that you want to consider is how are you going to build it, and it is the platform. So I'm going to discuss it here, and I haven't got any visual representations. There are a couple of programs around that can do it. Typeform can do it. If some people are using Go High Level, it's a little bit more difficult in Go High Level. You don't get the logic and the calculations at the same power as you do with something like Typeform. I have no personal preference, or I have a personal preference, but I have no personal preference to sell you guys anything in terms of what you should use. I use Typeform myself. I just like it. I'm familiar with it. Adherence. I'm going to use it because it's easy to use and I know it, so that's what I use. Are there better ones? Possibly. But I don't need to know them, and I don't need to go through the process of learning them either. With that being said, that's the technical aspect, but it's all the psychology that's the most important part. The technical setup of the quiz is moderately difficult. A little bit more difficult if you've got calculations and you're spitting out a figure. But if you're just setting up a quiz, something that's topical or just more psychological in its essence, very, very simple. So with that, and I'm going to talk about the psychology because that's where the money is made. You need to start with your offer. The offer is where you start. So once the quiz is finished, what are you going to sell? What do you want that prospect to do? So obviously, if you're in the contracting and the home builder kind of market, it's pretty obvious. You want to build a home. You want someone to do a kitchen, do a bathroom, windows, etc. Solar. The list goes on. Now with that, you need to understand, okay, I need to create a quiz that leads into that. So that's really important, that the quiz has to be related to your offer. So if you have something that's too detached or even just semi-attached, you will get lower quality prospects and potentially more leads. That's troublesome because it sounds like, more leads is great, but the quality's lower. That means you're going to have more human resource to engage with the leads, which is going to distract and take away from good quality leads. So it becomes like a human resource kind of issue, and you'll lower the efficiency. Lead volume with this type of funnel is not the problem. So the closer that you can get to the commercial intent, the better, because it's much more efficient from a human process standpoint, but also a business process standpoint. So to reiterate the first two, the second and third point, is topically related with the intent of purchasing your service. So a negative one would be, what type of kitchen suits your personality? it's kind of curiosity based. Like you could have a fantastic kitchen and you go through the quiz because it's like, oh, what does this thing think that I am suited to? Is it accurate? Like it's kind of like, what house do you fit into in Harry Potter? It's kind of like, what would you sell from that? Like it's just so ambiguous. It's not commercially tied to any intent that it's much more difficult to get qualified leads. And finally, just to hammer this home, everything has to be congruent with the topic of the quiz so it transitions seamlessly into the offer. Very much like the calculation quiz that I just showed as an example. It allows you to entertain prospects and appease the curiosity of that prospect into what is the cost. The cost is directly linked to the commercial intent of the selling of your service. That's why it can work so fantastically well. So the next part is brainstorming topics. This is generally the easiest part, but I have to cover it because if you don't do it, you're going to have a bad time, like a really bad time with this. Like you got to put in the legwork in terms of research and the setting up the process. Try to take the guesswork out of everything that you do, but certainly in regards to this, because the probability of success increases. So what are the main questions people are always asking? It's trend stuff. What's it cost? So on and so forth. It's what you get when people first contact you on the phone. What are the common types of questions? List them out. That's where you'll start to narrow down on what is the best theme of my quiz. What are people curious about? Again, that should be semi-obvious to you as a home builder contractor. Media mentions. Is there just new things in the media like interest rates are going up? You could create a quiz about that. Like how is that impacting something topical in your industry? Myths, mistakes, misconceptions. So this is like you can frame something around like, are you set up correctly to start your kitchen project? How much would you save if you got solar is another like myth, mistake, misconception in a way, because some people think that they can completely wipe away their power bill, but maybe they have some things that aren't in their favor in order to do that. And then loss and gain. So can you create a topic or a theme that is about the loss of something or the gain of something else? So some other kind of like starters is like, how do you, what does it cost to? And then things around struggle and frustration. These types of things are really important because what you can also do is that you can create a couple of quizzes to see which one performs best. And just a caveat to that, that's really important. Just because you get the most leads doesn't mean that it's the best performing. You might get less leads with one, but you have better qualified leads coming in. That might supersede the quiz or the calculator or the estimator, whatever you want to call this. Then so that it might offset the volume. So quality is definitely a big issue here, and obviously it's obvious that this type of like funnel allows you to get so much more information and set that barrier to entry up to become a lead a little bit higher, so you know that they're slightly more motivated. They're easier to close. It's a recipe for success. Next, we're like brainstorming the hooks. Now the hooks is like the persuasive kind of clickbait nature of the quiz. Like so like if people are asking about the costs, how do we frame that kind of topic that is kind of like clickbaity for a great way? That there's a psychological incentive to want to complete the quiz. So some really obvious ones is like, what will it cost to renovate your kitchen, bathroom, what will it cost to replace the windows in your home, etc. No matter what kind of contractor you are, you can fill in the gap there. How much could you reduce the power bill with solar? We kind of like loosely spoke about that one. See if you qualify for a particular roofing assistance program. Around the world, there's different types of programs, etc. that are applicable. Some states in the US have these types of things as well. And then another one, see if you qualify for the Texas $0 down solar program. That bottom one can be translated into many different ways. So it's a really like $0 down solar program. It can be your program, for instance. So like it doesn't have to. It comes across as like this is like a little bit like, if some people might say this is like a little bit more unethical, but if it's your program, you have control. So it's like, I'll let you in, I won't let you in. It's a nifty kind of one that can work quite well. The next important thing is qualification questions. So in the example that I showed earlier on, of a live quiz that's running. We have one. It's how soon are you looking to get started on your project? But another couple of ones is, are you the homeowner? Obviously, if the person is renting, they don't actually have the power to instigate any particular service or start any particular service. Like, when are you looking to get started is time qualification. And the last one revolves around quantity. How many windows are you looking to replace? So it's like, how many of something are you looking to do? So with the window quizzes that I do, actually, it's much more around about the specific type of window. How many do you want of that? And that provides the calculation at the end. So like, whether it's like a bay window, a single pane window, a sliding window, etc., etc. We're asking about the quantity of each type of window. So then we can provide a pretty accurate estimation of what their window project will cost, which is, I think, super awesome. Like, I enjoy this type of stuff. And it goes in conjunction with the direct to sale kind of offers, like, book a free consultation kind of thing, because, we're so good. We don't say it like that. But essentially, like, this is to work hand in hand with those types of offers and the types of marketing that you're doing and that we're doing for my clients as well. So it's this is why this works so well. It's another way to dip into your marketing. You're like double dipping in a sense. Like, you're getting even more lemon juice from the lemon. Early on, I said that, like, email, there's tons of money in email. Irrespective of this kind of quiz, like, email is like one of the most underutilized tools for contractors and home builders. Like, it's madness how much money people are leaving on the table because they do not have good email follow-up, both within direct correspondence with their prospects, but when they capture a lead, they do not nurture. There's tons of ways to improve like the quality of the prospect without any like human engagement. This is all automated. But when it comes to this quiz funnel, there's just huge amounts of money. So it's about nurturing the prospect, them to becoming a warmer prospect. So the first email is like one that's always tricky for people. So like, it's the only real one that I'm like semi-specifically talking about here, but setting the expectations of what they will receive and that email. So like what you will receive in terms of like, what types of information will they get? How often will you email, etc., etc. And when you write this, it's all in the benefit of the prospect. This is not about you. You don't even count here. It's all about what you are going to do for the prospect and how it benefits them. And they're going to become better. They're going to become more educated. That is what you can also frame it in the world of their status is going to be better because they're going to know more. That it's purely of the benefit of the prospect becoming more valued. They're becoming better. And that's really important because if you frame it in of yourself, unsubscribes will just ruin this whole process because no one cares about anything other than themselves in this type of environment, that being email. End your emails with an open loop. So a great way to describe an open loop is like the teasers at the end of episodes of TV shows. They end with like a cliffhanger or a teaser at the end to watch the next episode. It's like, everything wrapped up and then, there's a cliffhanger. I have to watch the next one. What are you going to tell them in the next email so that when they finish reading this email, it's like, I need to open up the next email because it's got an answer to a question. As humans, we want to close those open loops. So this is how you can get readership up. The more you tell, the more you sell, or the more the prospect reads, the more you sell, kind of thing. So it's super important, in my opinion, to be doing that. And that's where good copywriters and stuff can squeeze even more lemon juice out of the lemon. Some kind of like topics, because like people don't know what to write. Tell your story. Tell stories from your past about how you got into the business, people who mentored you, and what did you get from that, and how does that transfer value onto the prospect? As if you're the owner of a contracting business or a home building business kind of thing, you have tons of stories that people want to know. Dramatize them, almost like Jerry Springer, as like a little bit of a fun way, but like, really dramatize it because we're so attracted to drama as humans. We love those ridiculous and pathetic, in my opinion, pathetic reality TV shows kind of thing. And they're all got stupid pieces of drama scripted in. It's not even real. And it just does my head in, to be honest, and a topic for possibly another day. But you can also tell prospect stories. Again, dramatize it if you can. Offer a learning within the story. Offer some form of value that the prospect will benefit from. Stories are so powerful and underutilized in this world of email, but just in typical sales processes. So the next thing is, can you teach your prospect something? There is so much in the world of all contracting services that people just don't know, but they're interested in, and they're only interested in for a short little window. So while they're interested in your service, that's when they want to learn something, right? Soon as they leave that window and they've purchased working with you, they don't want to learn it. They've moved on. And that's perfectly fine. But while they're in there, you need to strike where the iron is hot. Teaching your prospect something, myth, misconception, mistakes, so powerful, so powerful. Put it in story format, you make a killing. Next one is soft call to actions. You do not need to be selling too hard. Let your stories, your own story, prospect stories, your teaching stories, etc. Let that do the selling. And it's just like, oh, by the way, if you want to work with this, here it is. Like, you don't have to phrase it that way, but it's a soft call to action, and you'll get people clicking that link and or replying or doing whatever, how you're structuring that call to action. They'll be fulfilling that call to action. It's you do not have to be the sleazy used car salesman in order to sell something. And ironically, here's my soft call to action. If you want to generate more leads, you want to have a conversation about your marketing with no obligation, that's completely free. Jump over to my website, brandhamel.com. It's down in the description below. You can also get a free audit too. And there's no, I enjoyed the conversations. Honestly, if I could get paid just to have those conversations somehow, like magically, I'd do that all day, every day. And that's why they're free. I actually enjoy them. I have a fair few per week, and it's honestly the best part of my week. And if you want to work together, great. There's no obligation. I ain't going to ask you, if you want to work together. It's up to you. You make the decision. If you think I'm a crazy lunatic, hey, I'm a crazy lunatic. Don't work with me. If you think that I can knock it out of the park and generate tons of leads like I have done with many people in the past and currently doing, hey, we might be able to work out something to work together. And that's fine as well. And all you have to do, brandhamel.com, scroll down just like this, click this button, fill out the form, and we'll be well on our way to having that conversation, no matter what it is about. So with that being said, I hope this video has been really helpful. If you have any topics about videos that you want to discuss or what you want me to discuss in future videos, drop a comment in the comment section below. And I really appreciate you smashing that like button, smashing that subscribe button, and I'll see you down the track. Thanks, guys.